I am highly terrified of this web platform called OnlyFans. A few years back, I was dating this girl from my workplace. We met through mutual friends, and she was strikingly beautiful. Every guy at the office approached her, and she rejected all of them. Even though I had a crush on her, I never told her, because I knew she would reject me as well. One afternoon, I was sitting in the cafeteria talking to a female colleague of mine. She came to give some files to her, and we got introduced. There was something magical in her smile that blew my mind right away. We only talked for 5 to 10 seconds, and her attractive stare pierced my heart. I tried my best to control my reactions, but I was pretty sure she saw me anyway. After coming home, I cooked dinner. I turned on the TV to watch a game while eating my dinner. As the game ended, I decided to go to bed, just when I got a text from that girl. "Hi, Betty here. Took your number from Sally." My heartbeat got faster that she asked for my number on her own and texted me as well. We chatted for almost an hour that night. The more I spent time with Betty, the harder I fell for her. She had dreamy eyes and a perfect figure to attract everyone's attention around her. We became closer and started dating. We went on trips and I introduced her to my common friends. Betty often stayed back at my place. I told her everything about me, but on the contrary, she shared very little about herself. I've never been to her place, but these small issues never struck me because I was too blind to think otherwise. Whatever she told me or asked me, I did without questioning her once. Being with her made me feel why people say love is blind. After a few months of dating, Betty told me that she needed to find an apartment, as her previous place had been sold out to a permanent tenant. I asked her that if she wanted to move in with me, because I was serious about us at that moment. She replied with a spontaneous yes, as if she was waiting for me to ask her this question. I was happy that I had finally found someone to share my life with. Betty could be a bit forceful when it came to things she wanted. She wanted a big house, which was quite unnecessary for 2 people right at the moment. But to make her happy, I rented a bigger house, and we moved in there. Betty left her job, saying she wanted to teach online classes, as it'll be an easy way to make money from home. I didn't stop her, or rather, I couldn't. I let her do the things she wanted to do. I left for the office every morning, and when I came home, I often saw Betty dressed too nicely. I asked her why she dressed like that every evening, to which she often replied she wanted to look beautiful for me. I felt lucky to have so much of her attention, but something strange started to happen. Every morning I woke up with a throbbing headache. My health started to deteriorate with time. I thought this might be happening off the stress in my workplace, so I shrugged it off. But the problem started to grow bigger with time. I started noticing small bruises on my body, which I had no idea about. What felt even more strange to me was that Betty didn't even notice all these changes. One day, I was sitting in my cabin all tired and worked up when my colleague, Cindy, came to me. Andrew, are you alright? You don't look good, man," she said. I smiled and replied, "Yeah, the work stress is just getting to me. I'm thinking about taking a break and going on vacation with Betty." I saw Cindy getting extremely awkward as soon as I mentioned Betty's name. I noticed the change in her behavior and asked, "Is everything okay, Cindy?" She looked here and there and said, You're doing good in your work. Maybe it's time for Betty to quit her OnlyFans account. I mean, this can be negative for your reputation in the office, and also if you are serious about her." I said in a shocking voice, "What? Betty has an OnlyFans account?" Honestly, I had no problem with her using the site, but I did expect her to tell me before opting for such a way of income. Now it became clear to me why she dressed so explicitly inside the house. I said to Cindy, "How did you come to know about it?" She smiled awkwardly and said, "Well, one of my friends subscribed to her account. It's nothing, she's just posting some, eye-catching content, but she can do so much better than that, Andrew. You should talk to her." I decided to confront her after going home that night. I didn't scream or overreact. I sat down and asked her, "Betty, do you have an OnlyFans account?" I saw the color of her face change. She promptly replied, I wanted to tell you, but... Wait, how did you know about it? I told her that's not important, but I expected her to be honest with me. She said in an upset face, I feel like I pushed you to invest so much time into buying this house. This is why I thought that this could be a good way to earn some good money in a short period. After hearing that, I obviously couldn't be angry at her anymore. I realized she just wanted to help me and nothing else. I felt ashamed to doubt her for 1 second. I comforted her and told her she didn't have to choose this way to help me out. Betty hugged me tightly and deleted her account right in front of me. We went out on a dinner date and things got back to where they were. But surprisingly, my morning headaches and bruises didn't stop. On a Sunday afternoon, Betty was busy showering. She kept her phone on the bed. I was watching some videos on my phone when I heard sounds of notifications coming from her phone. Her phone rang repeatedly, as if many messages came in all at once. I casually checked her phone, and as I opened the screen lock, I saw 5 to 6 texts in her notification. I clicked on the texts, and it redirected me to OnlyFans. I was extremely shocked to see Betty maintaining her OnlyFans profile, even though she just deleted it in front of me a few days back. But as I scrolled down to the profile, my heart stopped. It wasn't her only profile. It was rather a different profile, under a pseudonym. But this profile didn't have the usual contents that one could expect on an OnlyFans page. Some of the videos chilled my bones and explained everything that was happening to me for the past several weeks. She uploaded creepy torture videos on her profile, and in those videos, the victim is none other than me. There were videos where I was dead asleep in this very room, on this very bed, while Betty sat on me with a sharp knife looking at the camera, giving a huge smile. There was nothing magical in her smile. Rather, it was haunting and terrifying. This is not the Betty I know. She then made small cuts on my body, letting blood come out from it. She then licked my blood and looked at the camera. She started to laugh like crazy, making bizarre faces. I immediately understood that all those headaches were nothing but being drugged somehow. Betty gave me pills to make me unconscious, just to film these sick videos. And night after night, she kept abusing me in my sleep, just for some sick popularity and money. I got up right at that moment and went to her bathroom. I heard her humming a song and taking a bath. She seemed so innocent, but I knew she was not. I locked the bathroom door, grabbed my stuff, and left the house. I was more heartbroken than scared of being used by a woman I loved with all my heart. I never called her back or tried to contact her. Surprisingly, she never tried to find me either. I hope she understood that I discovered her dark secret because I left her phone on the bed like that. I once searched for her account to see if she was still using the OnlyFans platform. The account is still there, and she is still uploading such bizarre videos of torture and abuse. Except, in those videos, the victim is a new guy. I want to report her to the cops, but I know how extremely smart she is, and maybe I still couldn't get over her. I'm stuck in a very bad place.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the video. If so, please leave a like. And also, a small percentage of people that watch my videos are actually subscribed. If you want to support this channel and make this channel reach the 1 million mark, please consider subscribing. It's free and you can change your mind later. Enjoy.
Zoom calls became quite popular during the quarantine phase of 2020, and I still regret making that one Zoom call that ruined 4 lives. I'm a 45-year-old housewife living in Montana. After the lockdown got declared, we all got locked up in our houses. But to pass the time, I often talked to my friends using Zoom. Every night after dinner, we connected through a Zoom call and chatted for at least an hour or so. My son was studying in Australia and my husband died in a car accident 10 years back, so I've been living alone for quite some time now. My friend Joanna lived with her old mother. She didn't marry. And my other friend Molly lived with her husband. We talked about our daily life mostly. Suddenly, Joanna's mom passed away. One morning, Molly called me and gave me the bad news. It was painful for all of us, because Joanne is now completely alone, and this time she badly needed us to be there for her, but we were unable to see her for obvious reasons. The only option was to connect her through a Zoom call. But as the week passed, Joanna became more and more depressed. Whenever we called her, she hardly talked. She just sat in front of the screen with a sad face. Molly and I tried to cheer her up. We even planned to take a trip once the lockdown was lifted, but Joanna didn't show any excitement. Molly often told me, "Give her some time, Ivy. She'll be fine." There was nothing else I could do at that moment, so I waited for Joanna.
Hey, want to know 3 ways eHarmony makes dating more fun? Number 1, making a profile is way more creative. 2, I don't feel weird about starting conversations. And 3, eHarmony's got the top-rated profiles of any other dating app.
Float back to life. I realized that it would take some time, but didn't know the change would occur so fast and unexpectedly. Joanna suddenly stopped attending our Zoom calls, or any calls for that matter. She completely disappeared from our lives, cutting all ties. Molly and I called her neighbor, Mr. Cromwell. He said, "Joanna hardly comes out of her house. At night, I could see candle lights from her bedroom window. I'll check on her tomorrow and let you guys know." The next day was Sunday. I was waiting impatiently for Molly to call me. She said she'll connect Mr. Cromwell in a conference call so that we can both know about Joanna. Around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Molly finally called me. I picked it up immediately and heard her voice from the other side. "Ivy, Mr. Cromwell is on the line with us." "Hello? Mr. Cromwell? Did you see her today? How is she?" "Hey guys, I just came from Joanna's house. She's not the same person anymore." "I know, Mr. Cromwell. Lately, she's been going through a lot. Molly and I keep calling her, but she never picks up our call. Don't know what went..." No, you don't understand, Ivy. Joanna looked completely fine at first. She was smiling. But then she told me something that freaked me out." "Why? What did she say to you?" Molly asked. "She told me to come in and have a slice of her mother's freshly baked plum cake." "What? But her mother..." "Exactly. I think she's having trouble believing that her mother is no more. You all should call someone to take care of her." Whatever Mr. Cromwell said in the call shocked Molly and me to the core. I called Joanna right away. I made up my mind that if this time she didn't pick up the call, I would drive to her house, but thankfully, she did pick up this time. "Hello, Ivy. How are you?" "Joanna? Where are you? You didn't pick up our calls or even talk to us for the last few weeks. Are you all right?" "You don't have to worry about me. I'm completely fine now. See you guys at the Zoom call tonight." She disconnected the phone call before I could say anything. But one thing I was happy about is the upcoming Zoom call. I informed Molly that Joanna will be joining us again tonight. She became excited too. We decided to confront Joanna about her health at the video call. That night I finished dinner early. Molly's husband was out on a business trip, so we connected on the video call early that day. Molly texted the Zoom call link to Joanna, and we waited for her to join the call. Molly and I were talking casually until Joanna came in. When she arrived, we were shocked to see our friend as soon as her video flashed on the screen. Joanna was sitting in a dark room. The lights were turned off, but the room was filled with candlelight. It seemed very spooky and uncomfortable to me. "What have you done to your room, Joanna?" "Oh, goodness, no, Ivy. This isn't my room. This is Mom's room. I sleep here from now on," Molly said in a worried voice. "But why, Joe? I know you feel lonely, but you have to move forward with your life. This isn't the way to..." "But why would I be alone?" I could see a weird look in Joanna's eyes, as if Molly had said something absurd. "What do you mean?" "Joanna, darling, we all miss your mother terribly. She was the nicest mother one could have, but you have to accept the truth. She's no more, Joe." "What are you saying, Ivy? My mom's not dead. She's right here with me." "Yes, I know. She will always be with you, watching over you, Joanna. Please, don't be so hard on yourself. No! You are not getting it! My mom is right here, with me, right in this room, right now! The hair on the back of my neck stood up immediately. What is she saying? Molly said in a panicked voice. What? What are you saying, Joanna? Your mother's dead. How can she be in that room with you? Oh my God! Can't you see her? She's right behind me. Joanna's eyes widened as she kept on making such bizarre claims like a lunatic. Joe, please stop behaving like this. You're scaring us, Molly said in a sobbing voice. Now I get it. You can't see her because of the darkness in my room. Wait, let me show you guys. Joanna stood up and lit a candle. She then placed the candle right next to the bed on a wooden table. What I saw gave me goosebumps. A woman was lying on the bed, facing her back to the camera. Joanna got up holding the tablet in her hand. She then said in a spine-chilling voice, Mama? Mama, look! Molly and Ivy are here. They want to talk to you, Mama. She then looked at the camera once again and said, I'm turning on the back camera so you guys can see her face. You guys will realize how peacefully she's sleeping here. What in the hell is she doing, Ivy? Molly screamed in terror. I was speechless because I didn't know what to say. There was indeed a woman lying on the bed. As soon as Joanna turned on the back camera, we realized that a living nightmare can be. There was a corpse lying on the bed. Maggots were crawling on its face. The eyes were hanging on the cheeks. It was evident that this is a dead woman's corpse that had just started to rot horrifyingly. Molly screamed and fainted on the ground. Joanna kept laughing like a maniac. I could hear her saying, Look, Mama! Look, my friends are here to see you. They weren't believing me when I told you you were here with me, but now look at their faces. Joanna now is in a mental institution. I called the cops and her neighbor, Mr. Cromwell. We came to know that Joanna stole her mother's corpse from the hospital morgue and brought it home. The fact of losing her mother hit her hard. Molly and I are going to go visit her tomorrow. It's just terrifying to see what grief and loneliness can do to people.
Before I begin this story, I want to warn everyone to stay away from dark web. Last month, I had a small gathering at my place. I invited a couple of my office colleagues and we all drank and watched a football match. It was a men's night out, hence everyone got really drunk and lost track of time. There were 3 of us, me and my 2 colleagues, Max and Andy. We work in the IT department of a multinational company. The night was going well, but suddenly, Max brought up the topic of dark web. He said in a serious tone, very few people have the actual guts to surf the dark web. If you lost your way there, you have no idea what horrible things will come up. In my college days, I also accessed dark web once or twice, but nothing horrible took place. I said in a mocking tone, well, I think people spread a lot of rumors about the dark web. It's not that dangerous at all. Andy said, I never want to step in that arena. One of my college seniors told me that a guy ordered drugs from the dark web once, but instead, someone sent him the dust of human bones, which he snorted. I said in a surprised voice, what? What happened to him? Andy replied while taking a sip from his beer bottle. That guy barely got out alive. My senior told me he bled terribly from his nose. I laughed and said, I think your senior lied, dude. I can show you dark web is not that scary at all. I got up and turned on my laptop. Max and Andy sat beside me on the couch and we started to surf the dark web using the Tor browser. I was drunk and got adamant. I still regret going to the dark web just to prove a stupid point that night. I was going through the hidden wiki of the dark web. There were a bunch of links to various sites. We found a site that helps you to hire a hitman, and then a site where you can upload torture videos and earn money from the viewership. The more I searched, the weirder everything started to become. Max said, dude, can't believe some people can be this creepy in real life. I was about to click a new page when Andy pulled my attention to a link. The link read http://truefootages.onion. I said, let's check out this link. Max grabbed my hand and said, I don't think we should click on random links, Matthew. Let's just get out of this and watch the game. Seems like you are not one of those people who have the guts to surf the dark web, huh? I later realized how I insulted him, but I know I should have listened to Max that night. Without saying anything more, I clicked on the link. The screen started to load. Andy and Max kept staring at the screen with big wide eyes. I thought it would be some kiddish jump scare or something similar to that. But as the page finished loading, a zip file started to download on my laptop. Andy said, "Hey, it can be some virus, you know. It can crash your machine." I replied saying, I have a strongly built antivirus and the system would have blocked the download if it was a virus in the first place. Anyways, after the file downloaded, I extracted it in my laptop and it came across with 3 MP4 files in it. I finished my beer in one sip and said, "Are you ready to watch some dark web footages?" and smirked. Max and Andy were curious too, so they nodded. As I played the first footage, a small wooden house appeared on the screen. The house was located in the countryside. The person who took the footage started to walk towards the house. As he opened the door, we saw old furniture and damp clothes lying here and there. It was evident from the condition of the house that no one lives there. We could hear the heavy breathing of the person who had the camera in his hand, but it was hard to guess whether it's a man or a woman. The person stopped near the stairs, standing in the living room. I was obviously getting bored, but suddenly, Andy said in a whispering tone, "Did you hear that sound?" I asked, "What sound?" He said, "Listen carefully. I think someone's crying." I immediately increased the volume and realized Andy is right. There was actually the sound of a man sobbing. The man was crying like he's in terrible pain. The camera started to go upstairs. Now, our heartbeats got faster. As the person with the camera reached upstairs, the video ended. Without any hesitation, I played the second video. The second video started showing a corridor lying ahead of the camera. This time, the cry could be heard more clearly. The camera kept moving towards the corridor, and it came near the door. Max said, "I think there's someone inside the room." Andy shushed him, saying, "Watch it quietly." Now, the person behind the camera went to open the doorknob, and we saw a pale-looking skinny hand with lots of rings on its fingers. The red nail polish on those fingers made the hand look even creepier. We realized it's a woman, probably in her late 40s, filming this video. As she twisted the doorknob and opened the door, a vicious sight took place. There was an old man tied up to a chair placed in the middle of the room. It was this man's cry we heard on the first footage. Seeing the woman with the camera, the man started to cry even louder. The fearful look on his face made it all look so real. The man said in a sobbing and gasping voice, "Please, Julia, let me go. Why are you doing this to me? Please, don't hurt me. Let me go, Julia." We heard the woman laughing in a very disturbing way. It was evident from her laughter that she was enjoying this man's pain. She placed the camera on a wooden stand or something like that. Now the camera is still, and it is focusing on the man tied up to the wooden chair. Andy said in a panicked voice, "Is this all real?" This time, I got really confused. I wasn't expecting something like this at all. The man kept sobbing, and there was no sign of that woman for a few moments. Suddenly, the woman jumped in front of the camera from the left corner. It almost gave us all a heart attack. She started to laugh, looking at the camera like a maniac. Her eyes were big and she had a pale face. The way she stared at the camera, it gave us all goosebumps. Max even said, "I feel like she can see me. What the hell is this all?" The woman slowly moved her head and looked at the man. Then, she again looked back at the camera and gestured her finger in her lips. Andy said, "This woman is freaking insane. Is she telling us to keep quiet? What kind of bizarre video is this?" I was speechless with everything that was happening in front of my eyes. The woman picked up something from the ground. We couldn't see what it was, but as soon as she started to walk towards the man's behavior changed in a second. The man started to panic like a fish out of water. He said, No, Julia, no, you can't do this to me. I am your husband. Julia, please, don't do this. The woman reached behind his back and lifted her hand. She was holding a chainsaw in her hand. Her evil smile made my heart drop to my stomach. She again looked at the camera and shifted like before. The man was crying and sobbing, and the video ended there. The three of us sat silently on the couch, looking at the laptop screen flashing the third video file on it. I was literally shivering. Max was breathing heavily. Andy said in a trembling voice, "Should we watch the last video? What do you think happens in that?" Max got up and said, "Damn you, Matthew, I told you to stop." I hit my face with my palm. My forehead was covered with sweat. Then I said, I don't know." Andy played the last video. What we saw next shook us for our entire lives. The man was no more on that chair. The wall behind him was painted in blood. There was blood splattered all over the room. Our eyes were stuck on the screen. Our hearts were beating like wild horses. When we saw that woman coming in front of the camera from the left side again, her head was down looking at the floor. Her hair covered her partial face. I could tell she was holding something in her hand. She then stopped and turned towards the camera. Her face was still looking down. She started to cry like a child. Her cry was making everything even more uncomfortable now. She cried, standing like that for a few more seconds, and then suddenly lifted her hand with the bloody head of her dead husband. Yes, she was holding the severed head of that man in the chair. She started to laugh like a maniac while showing off his head towards the camera. Her eyes were glowing. She was looking like the devil from hell. Max gasped, "Oh my God, did she really kill her husband with the chainsaw?" And immediately started to throw up on the floor. I was numb. I couldn't move, couldn't take my eyes away. The woman then got really close to the camera and gestured her bloody finger onto her lips and said in a whispering voice, "Shh, keep quiet." The video.
Bauer tools give you the confidence to take on challenging home projects. With hundreds of corded and cordless tools and accessories, Bauer enables you to complete tough vehicle maintenance and repairs, manage difficult landscaping projects, tackle demanding home renovations, and even turn your garage into a workshop. For all your current and future projects, Bauer is ready to deliver. Bauer, heavy duty guaranteed.
Ended there. All of us remained awake the entire night. Andy got really sick. We admitted him to the hospital as he had a nervous breakdown after watching the video. We took the footage to the cops and told them everything. The cops are still investigating and looking for a woman named Julia who cut her husband's head off with a chainsaw and posted the entire incident on the dark web. If anyone comes across this woman, please let the cops know about it. I have no doubt that she is a mentally unstable woman roaming free with murderous intentions hidden inside. My parents worked as wildlife conservationists. They always encouraged me to take part in trekking clubs, summer camps, or any activity that includes nature. I learned a lot while exploring the wilderness, but this one memory still makes my entrails churn in disgust. I went to a summer camp in Sebago Lake. My parents went to Australia for a project at that time. Instead of sending me to my grandparents, they sent me to this camp so that I can learn some skills while having a good time with other kids. The camp instructor was a friend of my parents. I never knew his first name because everyone called him Mr. Bailiff. He was a strong, healthy man in his late 40s who always inspired us to take the extra step for the sake of adventure. He had a small team of senior campers who were assigned to navigate us through the day-to-day routine. The senior campers were boys and girls aging from 16 to 17 years. All of them were pretty familiar with the camp style, which made me realize they have been with Mr. Bailiff for a long time. I, on the other hand, wasn't a newcomer either, as it was my third summer camp. I have always been an active child and loved taking part in almost everything. Apart from the co-curricular, I loved taking part in the summer treasure hunt. Almost every kid waited for it eagerly. To keep the game more spontaneous, Mr. Bailiff introduced this all-of-a-sudden technique. Whenever the air horn went on, everyone rushed outside to find a big jar filled with clues. The teams were divided, and the game began. We had to search all over the campsite, and sometimes even went inside the woods looking for clues. I was loving my stay there, but with time, I started to realize Mr. Bailiff is not the kind of man I thought he is. He used to get rude and insulting at times. If a kid couldn't pull off the task up to his expectations, he beat the shit out of that kid with his horrible choice of words. The anger in his eyes made him look ferocious when he scolded a kid over nothing. The senior campers never stopped him, which implies they were too scared to face him. Some seniors explained to us that Mr. Bailiff is only a strict instructor and means no harm. But what he did during our warm-up session made me feel disgusted. There was this one boy named Kurt who loved eating a lot. He was a bit overweight, but we were just kids. At that age, no one could say no to chocolate pudding. Kurt loved chocolate pudding and couldn't resist himself. After breakfast, we went to our wilderness exploration with Mr. Bailiff. He was teaching us about the different kind of plants and animals residing in our ecosystem. Everyone was listening to him with great attention when a girl screamed in fear. We all turned to her and saw her pointing at the ground behind a bush. Mr. Bailiff walked to her, and everyone else followed. As we reached near the bush, we saw rotten remains of a dead possum. Flies were hovering on it, and a bad stench covered the air nearby. Mr. Bailiff turned to us and said, "No need to be scared. This is just a circle of life. Does anyone want to step ahead to bury this little guy?" No one wanted to, but these were Mr. Bailiff's weird life lessons that we had to abide by. When no one stepped up, he chose Kurt to do this job. With an overfilled tummy and long walk in the heat, Kurt was feeling uncomfortable enough. He said in a scared voice, I don't want to do this, sir." "Why? Don't you know how to fig dirt?" "No, I do, but I don't want to go near it. It stinks." Mr. Bailiff screamed at him as usual and forced him to bury that possum's remain under the ground. Kurt dug up the first chunk of mud, and I heard him gag once. No doubt he was feeling nauseous, and as soon as he leaned on to move the possum using a stick, he puked on himself. The undigested pudding was all over his clothes. He started sobbing out of embarrassment, but Mr. Bailiff didn't spare him even after that. He yelled in his strict voice, "I don't care if you vomit everywhere or even shit your pants. If you don't finish this task, I will make you eat your puke, boy." What other option did he have? He did as he was told while being drenched in his puke. The camp of enjoyment soon started to turn into the camp of torture. Mr. Bailiff was just too smart. He tortured the kids in the name of wilderness exploration and made it seem like he was teaching us how to overcome our comfort zones. Every kid in my dorm wished this nightmare to end so that they could return home. On the last week of our summer camp, we were counting days for it to end when Mr. Bailiff announced a treasure hunt. Following the rules, we got divided into teams and handed over the clues. There were artificial obstacles created for us to increase the thrill. Small hurdles such as crawling through a muddy ditch, jumping fences, climbing ropes to collect a clue was a part of it. Our team had to search for one clue inside the woods. Signboards were scattered throughout.
Choose to follow your instincts. Every Mazda is designed to feel like it was made just for you.
I wake up.
Hit pause on whatever you're listening to and hit play on your next adventure. Stay 3 nights this summer at Best Western and get $50 off a future stay. Life's a trip. Make the most of it at Best Western. Visit bestwestern.com for complete terms and conditions.
To give us hints where the last clue can be. We were a team of 4, and to win the game, we decided to split up and look for it. I was walking by a small trail when I felt someone go behind the tree nearby. I couldn't see at first, but a small hand appeared behind the tree. Hello? Is it Jim?" No answer came. I walked close to the tree and peeked to see who's behind it, but found no one. Running footsteps made a rustling sound on the dried leaves, and a chuckle appeared. I turned around and saw a small boy dressed as a Boy Scout. He was of my age. A weird smile took place on his face, and he said, "Are you playing the treasure hunt?" I nodded yes and asked, "Are you from our camp? I have never seen you before." He looked up to the tree branch above his head and said, Is Mr. Bailiff around? I said in a confused voice. Yeah, he is conducting the game. I have to find the last clue or else... Parker, who are you talking to? I found Mr. Bailiff standing behind me with a pissed off face. I was going to introduce him to that boy, but he was nowhere to be found. Mr. Bailiff started scolding me for wasting time when I noticed the boy coming from the bush nearby. I pointed at him, telling Mr. Bailiff that he is the one I was talking to, and Mr. Bailiff's face turned pale. He stared at the boy with a shocking face, and for the first time, I saw him scared. He said in a fumbled voice, "But you were dead." The boy chuckled and looked at the branch above his head and then back at him. "Why did you force me to climb this tree?" He started to walk towards Mr. Bailiff. I was stunned to see how excessively scared Mr. Bailiff was of this little boy. The more the boy walked close to him, the more Mr. Bailiff stepped back. He was sweating in fear and mumbled something. I couldn't make out what he was trying to say, but I noticed he was going to a steep edge. Mr. Bailiff was one step away from the edge when the boy stopped. He stood silently for some time, and then his head turned back at me. Just his head. I could hear the crushing of bones as his head turned to his back, and he looked at the tree once again, and then ripped off his head with his dirty little hands. Mr. Bailiff screamed one last time, and I heard a huge fall. I must have fainted too after seeing such a horrific sight. The senior campers rescued me and called the cops. Mr. Bailiff was taken to the hospital. Even though he didn't die, he broke his neck in such a terrible way that he has become paralyzed for the rest of his life. Before I could ask who that boy was, I overheard an incident that happened 2 years back. A boy named David came here for the summer. During one game of treasure hunt, Mr. Bailiff went a bit too rough on him and forced him to climb that tall tree, irrespective of the dangers that could occur. The boy was scared and traumatized, but Mr. Bailiff went on pushing him like always. Suddenly, he slipped and fell to the ground before anyone could catch him. He broke his neck and never woke up again. His parents were told it was just an accident, and no one revealed how responsible Mr. Bailiff was for that. I am happy that the poor kid got his revenge. A man like Mr. Bailiff deserves it.
Last week, I broke up with my boyfriend, whom I dated for 3 years. Even though we weren't separated, I remained in touch with him as a friend. He's a nice guy, but I just felt it wasn't working between us anymore. My best friend, Tina, suggested me to start casual dating again. She said it will help to get over this breakup. To be honest, last 3 years I hardly went out with new people or socialized that bit. Speaking about casual dating, no app is appropriate than Tinder. At least that's what I used to believe. One evening after coming home from work, I sat down on my bed and registered on Tinder. After going through some guy's profile, I got bored for not finding a good match and eventually dozed off. The next day, I went back to work when my friend Tina called me. Tina said, "Jill, you know what happened this morning? Tom called me and asked me how you were doing. I kind of told him that you were back to Tinder again, to kind of give him the idea that you have moved on. I hope that wasn't too much from my side, right?" Tina has always been like this, taking things on her own hand all the time. I expected something like this already, so I replied with an upset face, "Yeah, I will handle it. Bye," and disconnected the phone. I called Tom that night and apologized on Tina's behalf. Tom has always been nice to me. He said in a mature tone, "It's okay, Jill. I got your signal. I wish you the best. But whenever you need, don't hesitate to contact me. Take care." I felt bad for him, but his sense of understanding made me admire him too. A few days passed, and I went on with my life. I started going out with my friends, and sometimes with their mutual friends, for a drink or...
People who pick post-university for an MS in Business Intelligence and Analytics expect classes on their schedule, on their budget, taught by real-world professionals who know what it takes to move ahead in their field. Are you a post person?
Movies. One Sunday afternoon, I was chilling in my room when I received a request from a guy on Tinder. I opened his profile and started to check out his pictures. The guy wasn't that handsome, but he had a friendly face. I accepted his request and we started chatting on Tinder. His name was Mark. He said he works in a department store close to my location. We kind of hit it off. It seemed we had quite similar tastes in music and food. Mark asked me out for a lunch date. We decided to meet the next day at a local restaurant. I reached the restaurant 5 minutes late and noticed Mark sitting at a corner table smiling at me. He seemed attractive in real life. He had a good height and charming nature. His flirtatious nature was a bit edgy for a first date, but somehow I enjoyed his fresh attention after a long time. The date went well, and we decided to meet again sometime. Mark started texting me regularly, and I too kept responding. One day, we were talking over the phone, as usual, when Mark asked me, "So, are you in a relationship right now?" I replied in an awkward tone, "Well, if I was, I wouldn't be talking to you all this time," and laughed a bit to loosen up the conversation. Mark didn't respond to my joking tone and said, "Love has become a joke these days, you know. You can hardly trust people." I realized he might have been through a really bad breakup, but I chose to stay out of his personal affairs. With more days passing, Mark always tried to slip into our conversations and how heartbreak is the worst thing to do to anyone. I felt bad for him, but we kind of came a bit close. One day, Mark asked me to go on a dinner date with him. He came to pick me up from my house. As I got into his car, I could smell booze on him. He didn't look drunk, but he told me he went for a few drinks earlier. It didn't worry me because he was on his best behavior so far. He was driving carefully too. Around 9 p.m., we reached the restaurant. We sat down and ordered the food. Mark said while smirking at me, "Hope you won't mind if I order some drinks." I actually didn't mind because it was good to see him having fun. Not a single time he talked about relationship issues. Instead, he was very much flirting with me. I was blushing with his compliments. He drank 4 pegs of whiskey in just half an hour. Finally, I got a little bit worried and said, "You have to drive also, don't forget that." Mark looked at me, his eyes got stuck at mine. The way he stared suddenly creeped me out. Then he said, "Jill, I really like you. I would like to take you home after dinner." It has been quite a while I am going out with him, so I kind of wanted to get close to him, but seeing him getting so drunk, I wasn't feeling that sure. I fumbled and said, "How far is your place?" He replied, "Not that far. Come on, let's go." I couldn't say no to him, even though his sudden behavior change seemed unusual to me. He got into his car and started the engine. The roads were empty. He started to speed up the car. I got scared and said, "Mark, please drive slowly. You're scaring me." He looked at me and then started to chuckle, as if I said something very stupid. After leaving the town, we got onto a dusty road. I said, "I didn't know you live in the outskirts. How far now?" Mark replied in a low but firm voice, "Almost near." We reached in front of a wooden house after 10 minutes. The house appeared quite old and out of maintenance to me. The entire house was in darkness. We got down from the car and Mark said in a mocking voice, "Welcome to Lion's Den," and started to chuckle in the same manner. I thought it was all because of the alcohol in his stomach. As we got inside, Mark switched on the light. The house was really old. I could see a layer of dust on the couch and furniture in the living room. He took me upstairs. There was a bedroom and bathroom upstairs. The bedroom also appeared unclean and smelly. It felt like no one had cleaned the room for a while. Mark told me to sit on the bed and went to the kitchen. I waited for a few seconds when suddenly I saw something shining under the pillow. As I lifted the pillow, my heart sunk in horror. There was a sharp knife under it. I immediately got up and tiptoed to the kitchen. As I peeked inside, I saw Mark mixing something into a glass of wine. Is this guy planning to drug me and then slit my throat? Oh God, I made a huge mistake. I was out of the idea. There was no way I could get out of this house because Mark locked the door using his house key. It felt strange for me then, but I didn't care about it earlier. God, how stupid am I said to myself. Mark lifted 2 glasses on his hand and started walking towards the bedroom. I already came to the bedroom before he could realize that I had understood his vicious plan. He got inside and looked at me with his wide eyes and smiled. His face was looking all evil. He then said in a spine-chilling, cold voice, "Here's your drink, Jill. Enjoy." I knew there's no way I can fight this guy and get out of this house alive. So a plan came to mind. I said, thanks. Hey, can I use your bathroom for a sec? Mark replied, of course, but don't make me wait too long, and smirked at me.
If only sleep came this easy for everyone. This gal really needs her sleep.
What I need is more hours in the day.
Try these. Ollie Sleep Gummies help you fall asleep and stay asleep. Okay, Miss Melatonin, we see you. Good morning. How do we do?
This really worked.
I got up and went to the bathroom. As soon as I locked the bathroom door, I dialed my ex-boyfriend, Tom. He picked up the phone and said, "What a surprise, Jill. So what's..." But before he could finish, I replied in a broken but low voice, "Please help me. This guy's trying to kill me. I need your help, Tom," and started whimpering. Tom replied in a panicked voice, "Oh shit, where are you? Share me your location." I shared with him my live location, and Tom said, "Listen, Jill, just hold on for some time. I am coming there as fast as possible." I stood inside the bathroom like a statue. I was completely freaked out and paranoid. Suddenly, a knock appeared on the bathroom door. I heard Mark's voice. "Jill, did you take something that is mine?" Mark said. My hands turned cold. Oh my god, this guy now knows. He hasn't figured out that I've taken his knife with me. Mark started to bang on the door. "Come on out, doll. I have planned a romantic night for us. Don't make me force you." The bathroom door was made of half glass and half wood. Hence, I could see Mark's figure leaning on the glass. He almost stuck his entire face on the glass and said, "Jill, don't make me force you. Come out and give me my knife back." I started screaming and crying. "Please let me go." But what Mark did next shook me from the inside. He started banging on the glass with his head. Cracks started to appear on it, and blood splattered on the glass too. He was hitting the glass like a maniac, with his head screaming, "Open, open now." Suddenly, I saw Tom calling me. I picked up the call and Tom said, "I'm here. Where are you?" I was in no position to explain further. I rushed to the bathroom window, and luckily it was open. Without giving it a second thought, I jumped. I hurt my ankle, but I saw Tom standing in his car on the road. I sprinted to him and got inside his car. I screamed with the top of my lungs, "Drive, Tom, drive now." He drove the car away, and that night I took sleeping pills to sleep. Tom stayed back with me. It's been a few days since this incident. Last night, we sorted things out and are back together again. I can't trust any unknown guy anymore. Tom is taking a shower right now in my bathroom. But suddenly a text has come to his phone. Reply from an unknown number. The text reads, "Got the payment, thanks." It is a reply to a text that Tom sent to this number. Tom has texted this number last night. "Got her back. Thanks for all the help. Sent you the money."
I'm extremely terrified, but thankful at the same time. Terrified because I got abducted by a psycho freak, but thankful because along with me, I could save 2 more lives from receiving the sickest and most painful death. My name is Kyle, and I will never be able to celebrate Christmas with an innocent mind for the rest of my life. Every year, the people of my town gather in the huge community hall for a long-awaited Christmas party. We have a small fair in the garden of the community hall. We eat all the chocolates that we want, We sing carols, and toddlers perform little plays about the miracle of Christmas. It was the night of Christmas Eve. We all gathered in the community hall. Kids were running around, dressed in Santa hats. A fat Santa Claus was roaming around, tolling his big shiny bell. Christmas songs were playing over the speakers. I loved the entire scene. I walked into a stall in the corner that was selling sugar cookie rainbow bars. All the kids gathered near the stall, and the owner was having a tough time handling them. I'm a bit short for 10 years old, so it was becoming more difficult for me to grab a rainbow bar for myself while managing the crowd. After being pushed and shoved like a rag doll, I left the stalls in frustration, spent my money on a silly little keychain instead, and sat on a bench some distance away. The bench was under a big tree that was covered in snow, creating a shadowy atmosphere in that particular spot. Everyone was having fun, except me. I was thinking of going home, playing video games, when I heard rustling footsteps behind me. Turning around, I didn't see anyone, but slowly, a face came out of the darkness. "You don't seem to enjoy Christmas very much, huh?" The person speaking came out of the dark and sat right next to me. He was a man whose age I couldn't guess due to his weird outfit. The man was wearing a Willy Wonka costume and had a silver cane in his hand, just like I'd seen in the movies. But unlike the funny Willy Wonka in the movie, this man looked like a creepier version of the fictional character. His eyes were wide and still, like a dead fish. There were dark circles around them, which made his face even spookier. His pointy nose, accompanied by a sharp jaw, hinted at something going on inside his mind.